A strength brake test. We have a scale here that we're checking to see how much weight or force we can apply in direction. So go ahead and move it out as hard as you can go. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going. Hard, hard, hard. Keep going. Go, 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 go. Harder, harder, harder. Keep going. Max it out. Yeah, that's it. Okay. All right. So right leg hip abduction, we got to 25 pounds of force. Okay, we'll reset this guy. We're gonna go left side hip abduction. Kind of same testing. Okay, so go as hard as you can. Just keep going. Go max to what you can get, and then kick out hard. Harder, 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 harder. You maxed?
Yep.
Okay. All right, and we got left side hip abduction. We have, it's about 22 and a half pounds of force going to the left from the hip. I'm gonna reset this. We're gonna do shoulder extension. Slide out, we'll start with the left side. Okay, so we're going to do shoulder flexion. So go ahead and pull up as hard as you can. And good. Okay, so shoulder left, shoulder flexion is about 25 pounds of force. If you can read that, 25. And we'll go right side, same technique. So again, this is a brake test. We're just looking to see how much force can be applied in a single direction. We'll zero that out. Okay, go ahead, pull up as hard as you can. Okay, good. All right, we got 30 pounds on that right shoulder flexion. Sorry, you can't read this. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do isometrics, and we're gonna recheck those. So I'm gonna have you just go ahead and push lightly. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. We'll grab 3 sets of about 6 seconds, and I'm having him push it about 10% effort. 4, 5, 6. We'll get one more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So let's see if this changed. Do you remember the numbers?
Mm-hmm.
I think those are about 25 pounds. So let that rest for a second. Get everything reset. So basically we're checking to see if the force production is greater after doing isometrics. So we got everything zeroed out. We did 3 sets of 6 seconds isometrics at about 10% effort. So I'm going to see if our force output increases. Go ahead and push out as hard as you can. Push, push, push. Good. All right. And it did go up. I think we're at 25 pounds on that right leg. It is, I'd say maybe 28 pounds of force. So the isometric increased the force production on that right hip abduction. And we're going to do isos. Okay, so go ahead and push out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Same thing. Good. Push out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we got one more set. So again, doing isometrics to see if they improve force production. Awesome. Rest. And we're going to test that. Okay, so give me everything you got. Push it out as hard as you can go. Push hard, 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 hard. Good. Keep going. Push, 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 push. Good. And rest. All right. So about the same. We got, I'd say, 29 pounds of force output, and Again, I think that was up. I think we were close to 25. We're gonna do shoulder flexion. So I'm gonna have him iso pushing up into shoulder flexion, 10% effort. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll rest. We're grabbing 3 sets of 6. Okay, give me another one, pushing up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So we're using the nervous system to create a stronger or more force output by stimulating the nervous system through low sensation. Awesome. All right, so we'll check that. So slide out to the edge. Okay, whenever you're ready, go. Pull hard as you can. Good. You all right? Mm-hmm. Cool. Go ahead and switch that. All right, so for left shoulder flexion, we got about 31 pounds of force. So I think that went up. And check out this. All right, shoulder flexion. Okay, we're gonna push up 10%. Lighter. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. So go set number 2, pushing up lightly, 10% effort. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So we're trying to move from that shoulder joint and not get the elbow involved too much. Okay, one last time. 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. And then we're going to test that. So we're going to go same kind of position. Reset, looking at shoulder flexion on the right. And go ahead and push up as hard as you can. Good. All right. Okay, we have right shoulder flexion is maybe 28 pounds. So not a significant change in that. I think it was 27 before. So I want to look at right shoulder flexors. All right, so I'm going to have Jamie do a shoulder flexion exercise or movement with a band. So we'll just do a set of 10 going straight ahead into shoulder flexion. So we're trying to see if moving a weight or doing strength training increases force production or decreases force production. So we're going to get him back on the table and try to see if his force output changes in a better or a worse situation. So we'll do 10 of those on both arms, and then we'll do our muscle tests. So one thing I want to point out is our traditional strength and fitness professionals might use this type of an exercise for a shoulder flexion strength tool. So I'm curious to see kind of what happens. Yeah, we'll switch sides. We'll grab 10 of those, and then we'll get them back on the table. Do you feel any difference in arms, or not really?
Not really.
Cool. So this is a concentric movement. Basically, we have resistance challenging anterior deltoid, a little bit of pec major, and biceps are getting challenged. So we want to see kind of how that tissue holds up with this stress. Set it down. We'll recheck our tests. Okay. So again, checking out shoulder flexion. Let's start on the other arm. Sure. Since we worked that first. Exactly. Arm straight. Okay. Pull up as hard as you can. Hard as you can. Good. Go ahead and switch arms again. All right. So we got 30 pounds of force. So his force output got stronger. Pretty cool. We'll reset this. One left. Arm, shoulder, flexion. Okay, go ahead and pull up as hard as you can. Pull, 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 pull. Good. All right. Okay, and we have 25 pounds on the left side. Okay, we're going to try that again. So go ahead and hop up. I'm going to have you double up the band. Okay. So, same thing. Just step in the middle, but hold both handles this time. Okay, so we're adding a lot more resistance to this. We're doubling the amount of resistance or force that he has to overcome. So we're gonna do like maybe 3 or 4 reps, if you can. Yeah. Okay. So again, load is increasing significantly, and I want to see if we load him towards his maximal effort or exertion, if his force output stays the same, gets stronger, or goes weaker. So I don't really have a kind of a clue or idea of what's going to happen. So I'm just kind of thinking on my feet, trying to use my RTS skills and my knowledge to make this a real world or kind of a practical situation. We usually look at the strength as loaded up more, get better results, and trying to see if that is true in every situation. Okay, we'll start back on the right. So we're going to do right side shoulder flexion and see if that changed at all. Okay, pull up as hard as you can. Rest. Good. And good. Switch. Okay, so we're back down to 25 pounds of force production. So we found his threshold or his limit. The double banded shoulder flexion made him decrease in force out production. So we'll try this on the left side. We'll see. So we went from 30 on the right down to 25. Okay, go ahead. As hard as you can. Pull, 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 pull. Rest. Good. And this is about 19, maybe close to 20 if we round up. Okay, so the conclusion of that kind of study was if we load and have him do a myometric or a concentric strength training exercise, lighter load helps out, creates more force output. If we go too much of a load, we have a decrease in force output. So we're gonna rest, we're gonna recheck just so things aren't fatigued. So one thing in my mind is his muscles might be fatigued, so we're gonna just kind of wait for a minute or so and then recheck and see if we're in the same ballpark or if things reset and they're able to produce more force. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll do that. Sounds cool. Okay, so we're gonna get a baseline. Okay, shoulder flexion on the right side. Okay, pull up as hard as you can. Pull, pull, pull. Good, rest. Okay. All right, again, 25, so that's pretty consistent on the right side. So again, that was 30 with the single band pulls versus 25 with the doubles. Okay, ready, set, go. As hard as you can. And rest. Good. Your shoulders all right? Yeah. Okay. So we got 20 on that left side. So those are pretty consistent. Okay. We're gonna go back to the isos. just to see if that helps out. So I'm going to have him pushing up, giving me 10% effort. The shoulder flexion, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice rest. So the importance of this whole thing is too much load or effort may decrease performance or force production, where we might use a moderate or a lower intensity or force to stimulate nerve and muscle contractions. So we'll go around 2, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So he's not pushing a lot. We're trying to kind of use this as a reset and hopefully get more force output. Go ahead and lift up. 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. Good. Okay, we do the same thing. Left side shoulder flexion. Good. Push up lightly. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll rest. Okay, set number 2. Push up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll grab one more of those. Pushing up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are your shoulders getting fatigued? Okay. So we're doing a lot of stress on these shoulders, so I'm just making sure everything's cool. Okay, so we were at 25-ish on the right and 19, 20 on the left. The last time we checked them, we're gonna compare that. Okay, give me everything you got. Pull up as hard as you can. Pull, pull, pull. Good. Awesome. Okay, so right side, look at that. We're at 34 pounds of pressure. So the shoulder flexion is getting strong on the right side. It seems that if we don't mess the threshold up and go too heavy, then we get increased force production. So we'll check out left side. Okay, so again, we did those ices as a reset. We're looking to improve force production. Okay, go up as hard as you can. Good. Pull, 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 pull. Good, rest. Okay. Left side is about 24, so that was I think 19 before. So again, it went up from or as a result. Okay, so we're gonna kind of take this next step further. I'm gonna have Jamie do shoulder flexion into a barrier. So this is on the Isophit machine, and you can do this with a barbell or just push up into something. You can stand up against a wall and push into a wall. So there's lots of configurations and different setups. So I'm gonna have Jamie do his right arm. He's gonna do shoulder flexion, and I want him to push for 6 seconds. And how much force are you pushing?
15, 20.
Okay, so he's not pushing real hard. He's on the low end of the spectrum. Rest. And then we're gonna kind of show you how you can do these isometrics in different ways and see what happens to force output. Go ahead and do set number 2. Good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll grab one more of those, and then we'll hit the left arm. Good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So again, focusing on the interior delt, a little bit of pec. So we'll go left side, pushing up into a barrier. He's going maybe 25% effort, low intensity. Going 6 seconds. Good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll get one more of these. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so we just did the Isophit or isometric shoulder flexion. We're going to kind of recheck and see what his force output is. So I'm going to have him do right shoulder flexion. Kind of have you push up as hard as you can. Ready, set, go. Push up, push, push, push. Good. Go. All right, and we are about 32 pounds of force after doing that iso. then left side, do the same thing. So we're gonna go ahead and push up, ready, go, as hard as you can, push, 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 good. Awesome. Okay, left side, it's about, I'd say 27 pounds of pressure. So the left side increased quite a bit, and that's the kind of power of isometrics and force production. All right, so we just kind of did a low intensity shoulder flexion iso. We're gonna do a high intensity. I'm gonna have him max out. We're gonna go for 6 seconds. So go right shoulder flexion. Push as hard as you can. Ready, set, go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then we're gonna do that on the other side. We'll just do 1 set. Okay, max effort, 100%. Ready, set, go. Pushing. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, so we just did a max effort isometric, and we're gonna check and see kind of what his force production is. So we got the right shoulder flexion. Okay, give me everything you got. Ready, go. Good. Okay, so right arm we have 30 pounds of force production after a 6-second max effort isometric. Left side, same thing after a max effort iso. Ready, set, and go. Good. Awesome. And we have 25 pounds of effort or force production after doing max exertion isometrics. All right, so I'm gonna have Jamie do basically a front raise or a deltoid fly or front raise. So go ahead and grab 10 of those. So he has, I think, like a 10 pounder. Okay, so same motion of that kind of shoulder flexion. So again, this might be an option for strengthening exercise, and we just want to see what happens to his force output after doing this type of a challenge or stress on his shoulder flexors. So we'll do 10 each arm, and then we'll check out the force production after. So this will be more of a traditional kind of strengthening exercise. And one thing I want to point out is that 10-pound dumbbell is, I don't know, maybe 30 inches from his shoulder joint. So there is 10 times 30 inches. So that stress on his shoulder is 300 pounds of inch torque. So there's a lot of force going through that shoulder joint. So checking out force output on shoulder flexion, so on the right side, and we're doing this after a dumbbell front raise. We did a set of 10 on each arm. Okay, so give me everything you got. Ready, set, go. As hard as you can lift. Good. Awesome. So right side, we had a big decrease. We're at, I don't know, 18 pounds, 17 pounds of force production. So the dumbbell raises really decrease the force output. Let's see what happens on the left side. Okay, same thing, go up as hard as you can. Pull, 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 pull. Good. All right, left side shoulder flexion. We got about 20 pounds of force coming out of shoulder flexion after doing a dumbbell shoulder raise with 10-pound dumbbells. So both of those exercises with the dumbbells decreased force output, and it's kind of something to think about when you're challenging people or muscle tissues and trying to get improvement, force output, or stronger. some exercises actually fatigue the muscle, decrease the range of motion, and you get less force or less production out of those muscles depending on what stress you're putting on your joint and your muscles and body. So we're doing isometrics. So I'm going to have him do a real light iso in the shoulder flexion on the right side. Good. And we're maybe 10 to 20% effort, real low intensity. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We get one more set. Slowly pushing up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So low intensity left shoulder flexion. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay, same thing. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll get one more round and we'll check the force production. Okay, ready and pushing. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Check right shoulder flexion. All right. So go ahead and push up as hard as you can. Good. All right, we're back up to 30 pounds of force. So that isometric increased force production after doing our dumbbell raises, which decreased force production. The left side, same thing. Push up as hard as you can. Go. Awesome. Okay, left side is back up to 30, so big change in that. So those isometrics, safe versus the movement of dumbbells. Dumbbells is a dynamic or change in environment. Isometrics is a static where everything's staying the same. So it looks like the isos outperformed the dynamic strength and the movement type of strength training.